dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
What is up 24/7 PF? It's Tuesday night. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that only means one thing. It's time for the Take on Report. It's a game week. It's a game week, everybody. It's preseason game week, but it's a game week. We're going to be talking about that matchup with the Indianapolis Colts right here in Buffalo. And we're going to go over some training camp news. I got a little rattle the reads, which I haven't told them about. They're hearing about it right now for the first time. We're going to do a little who we watching as far as who we watching for this game, man. Offensive, defensive players. We want to hear from you guys. And we're going to talk a little bit about this backup quarterback situation. Let's be thinking about that, okay? And here's an intro, and we'll be right back. Here we are, and here it is, Tuesday night with the best twins I know. Well, my nephews are pretty cool, and they're upstairs too, so tied for the best. Right below me down south there with his patchy hat on, it's Mr. Jarrod Reed. What's up, Jarrod?
Not too much. Can't wait to start talking Bills football with you guys. FLX Mafia in the house in between Cuca and Seneca Lake. Love it here. Love it there. Let's go Bills.
Hell yeah. And then right over here next to me over on that side, right over there, there's that guy that looks like the guy that's down there, but he's not that guy. It's Scooter McGooter. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Bills Mafia? Hey, Swank. How's it going, buddy?
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Good,
How are
good,
you?
Good. I'm so happy to be here. I love these Tuesdays with the Fandemonium. You guys are already hitting up the comments like crazy. It's game week. Let's go.
Oh, hell yeah. Don't forget that we are part of the Buff Fan Base Network. Please go follow, support all the great things and the content that's coming out from them. And if you were wondering, up here, up top, right up there, it says presented by 26 Shirts. That's right, 26shirts.com. Sponsors the K-Gun Report and every other show on the Buff Fan Base Network. So go over there, 26shirts.com. Buy everything. It goes to a good charity. Del Reed and the gang are doing great things. So check it out.
.com.
In the comments, as Scooter said, we have our boy Patrick Hughes. We got Rowdy Rob Mullen. What's up, Rob? We got John saying, hey, what's up, K-Gun fans? We got Adam. Let's go Buffalo. How's it going, Adam? Rob pushing a very, very, very topical thing. He said, check out the recent article regarding camp concerns on 24/7 buffandemonium.com. That's right. Rob Mullen is putting out all sorts of heat and basically daily articles. So go check that out for anything training camp, anything Buffalo Bills. Rob's doing a great job, as well as our resident doctor, Mr. Dr. Bruce, with the injury report. We got Lonnie Cook. What's up, Lonnie? We got the beautiful Ellen Lartz. What's up, Ellen?
Hey.
We got Lonnie's son, Josh Cookie. What's up, Cook?
What's up, buddy?
We got Doug. We got this guy named Buffalo Spurton.
This is Sparta.
Nicely done.
Waiting for it.
Crack it. There it is. We got Dr. Bruce. Speak of the devil. Here he is. Go Bills. We got some great people here with us. Thank you guys so much for participating, and we're going to have us a whole lot of fun tonight. A whole lot of fun.
I tell you what, I love reading Dr. Bruce's blogs too about the injury report. If you only see a little bit here and there about camp and you're not hearing much about injuries, just go to 247buffandemonium.com. He's got the injury report there, and it's awesome just to see. Love it.
Hell yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about training camp, man. We're rolling into it. It's a game week for these fellers. We had the blue and red practice on Friday. I was telling the boys it was a little hard for me to find a whole lot about it other than content creators such as ourselves kind of doing their little hot takes on it after the game. I was looking for like some highlights or something. And I think, the Bills put together a little something, but it wasn't super informative. Everything I've heard is that the defense has been pretty much winning the days, but the offense, the first team especially, has had its super flashes. I believe Scooter McGooter, you posted a tweet earlier about the play of the day from yesterday. What's that about?
Oh my gosh. I have a similar tweet the week prior. It's just comparing our quarterback and other quarterbacks. The tweet I posted on Twitter, obviously that's where tweets go. Is Josh dropping dimes on a rope. As hard as that is to kind of figure, man, oh man, it's the Trent Sherfield. It's not the Gabe Davis. It's not the Stephon Diggs. It's to our potential number 3 wide receiver. He put it over Trey White's head and just beyond Taron Johnson's reach. Beautiful pass. Oh my gosh. And guys, it was during 11-on-11. I know it's just practice, but it's nice to see our quarterback nailing those lead passes and completing those kind of passes in 11-on-11 and not all these other fan bases showing 1-on-1 and 7-on-7 highlights. It's hilarious. But like I said, it's practice. You take it how it is, but man, he's looking good, and he looks like he's got that relationship going with the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, 7th guy. So big time.
I think to him, man, like he comes in and they're all the same to him. You know what I mean? Any of those dudes. I mean, if you look at the history of wide receivers that Josh has played with, he's treated every single one of those dudes with the same kind of respect that he would Stephon Diggs. I mean, I think like Duke Williams, nobody was happier for Duke than Josh Allen when he caught that touchdown. You know what I mean? Journeyman, his story, all that stuff. So I think, to me, especially in training camp, I think he's like, I don't know who the guy's going to be. I'm just going to act like all of them are the guy, and I think that's just like a good way to play. Jarrod, what do you think?
You said twice, Scott. I think I know it's practice, but take it how you want. It's practice, but it's also pride for the defensive side too. What I took away from that video was a beautiful pass, a beautiful catch, beautiful placement, an inch away from the defender swatting that ball away. I asked my wife for a pen. She's bringing it to me now. There you go.
Jared taking notes.
So it's all close. They're game of inches, and our guys are right on top. If you're referring back to the Dolphins and the Jets and the Patriots, when their quarterbacks are completing the ball, there's no tight coverage. So where's the problem going to be? Is it going to be the defense that can't cover people, or is it going to be the offense can only throw it to wide open guys? And that's going to be trouble against the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm. One point I'd like to make about that clip, because it's been circulating like crazy. Do you know the two corners that were covering Sherfield on that play?
Taron Johnson and White.
Johnson.
That's right. Probably the best nickel corner in football, and hopefully all-pro Trey White, So it's not that Sherfield wasn't covered. It's that Josh put it the only place he could put it, and Sherfield made a great catch on it. So
White almost had that. He almost tipped that ball.
Yeah. Game of inches, man. Game of inches. We got Jason in the comments. He said that's a fact. The last guy in the wide receiver room has a relationship with Josh that rival QB WR1 on other teams. Hell yeah. He says he missed that Sherfield throw. Have it handy by any chance. If you go to our Twitter account, man, Scott shared it, and it's all over. Go to Sales. Sales got a great angle of it too. So, yeah. Other than that, I wanted to touch on a couple little things. Josh Allen's been banged up a little bit. He kind of came out for a couple plays yesterday. Doesn't seem to be anything horribly crazy. People are speculating that it might be related to when Taron Johnson smoked him in the end zone for that stupid play last week. But we don't know. He was back out. I don't think it's a big deal. The bigger deal to me is Deion Dawkins' hand injury. Got taken out of practice yesterday. They don't think it's crazy, but we've seen linemen getting taken out for hand injuries for a lot of games. So I don't think you'll see him at all in the preseason. I don't think you were going to see that anyway, but I think this just cements it. So other than that, any highlights or lowlights from training camp over the last week, Jarrod, that you want to touch on?
The health of our team, you mentioned it. We're getting nicked here and there, but nothing serious yet, and that's always good. But I listened to Taron Johnson's interview that he had yesterday, and I must say, Bills fans, you got to pride yourself in the players these guys bring in to play for our team. They're well-spoken, they know what to say, and they're polite. And it was just, nice to listen to him talk. What I'm going to be interested to see is he mentioned something, and Carlos Williams mentioned this a couple weeks ago, how what else you bring into the table. He mentioned something along the lines of him having to play the nickelback and linebacker and being able to blitz the A-gap and cover the zone and be man-to-man with sometimes the best receiver on the field at the time. And he really pointed out that he works on a different craft every time he's out there to help perfect his game. And then on Sundays, he gives it his best to put out what he's learned and tries to get it, 100% correct every time. And I loved it. And like I said, Carlos Williams said it a couple weeks ago, and he said it today. And it's just how our Buffalo Bills team is now. It's what their mentality is. They're mature. I love listening to a talk. And it's just the next level feeling that I have for this team, in the confidence that this they're going to go far this year. They're going to be a strong team. And I love it. I love what they represent and how they speak and everything about it.
Nice. I thought you were going to cry for a minute there, and I would have encouraged you to
Did
do
you see
so.
it?
Feel free to do so.
Well, Jared's weird. He doesn't cry when he's nervous or emotional. He actually farts. So I'm surprised that the mic didn't pick that up.
Oh.
It's
That's
weird.
that twin love right there. What do you think, Scooter?
I think a lot of people are obsessed with how poor the offensive line looks. I'm taken from this. We have veterans in our offensive line. We have Mitch Morse manning the center, Deion Dawkins at the left tackle, and we can go down the line. We have a rookie, obviously, Osiris Torrance in the right guard. Veterans everywhere. I don't think it's a poor offensive line. I think our defensive line and McDermott are bringing such pressure and a different look, an aggressive look. And it's hard for an offense to be able to withstand the top 5 defense in the league. So I'm not looking and being nervous about our offensive line. I'm kind of going towards the whole, this McDermott defense is going to be nasty. So until we see the games happen, I wouldn't panic about our O-line, but that's what these games are for. Let's watch some preseason and see what happens with those guys. I'm not too nervous about that, but there's a lot of hype about our defense and a lot of concern about our O-line right now.
Yeah, I don't really understand the concern over the O-line. I think, isn't it like pretty blatantly obvious that the line's gotten better and that they've put assets into building up the line and making it better with veterans and rookies and younger players? Like, I think they've really stacked it. I don't see where people think that this line has gone anywhere but up, you know? And if you get Josh Allen some more time back there, he does magical things. So I don't know. I think that's a good point, and I think it's something that the national media has really got twisted out of control. I mean, obviously we want to see what happens, but I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about our O-line right now, better than I was last year.
Same here.
So let's see here. Adam asked, how do you guys feel about McDermott's comments on Epinesa being a huge part of the defense this year? Well, who wants to take this one first? We'll go backwards. Scotty, what do you got?
He better be. His contract year, there's a lot of hype for him being the second pick a couple years back. And we've all seen sparks. The thing is, we all seen sparks. And sometimes you can't get your rhythm with this rotational defense that they do. But with Von Miller being out and him being in the same system now, I think with McDermott having a more aggressive defense, Epinesa might thrive. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see all our defensive ends, all our young players that we brought in over the last couple of years in the draft. But Epinesa is that guy that has to do something because it's his contract year for sure.
I'm telling you, that's a great point. I don't know, how can you not want to see every single player on this defense under a McDermott-led defense? And, I mean, it's hard for me to want to cut a lot of people because I just think that this is going to be the extra juice that some of these dudes need, you know? What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, like Scott said, the point he touched on all the good points, and another point that they changed this man's physique from his rookie year to his first year, losing weight, gaining muscle. So he's got to be able to play with that and adjust. And he had other guys coming up. This is a league where if you don't show that you can play and someone else is better than you, then they're gonna obviously be playing over you, even if it's just a little bit. So each year could change. I lifted more, I did this more, I really focused on this. And we got a couple players on the team that are showing that, like Shane Ray, so every moment that you have a chance to be on this football field to represent a Buffalo Bills defense, you're going to work hard for it. And Epinesa obviously is working hard for it. And, if he's starting day one or backup and he's seeing good rotational time, then he's earned it. And if he's earned it, that means he's putting in the work. And that's exciting. And
he's thicker. He's thick this year. He's gained some of that weight back.
Love it.
Yeah, it's put up or shut up time. I think if he's gonna survive and strive and be the guy that everybody thought he was when they drafted him, I think like back-to-back years, Bean's done these sneaky picks, like with our first pick. Obviously that year we didn't have a first round pick, but AJ was one of those dudes that people kind of forgot about. that slipped into the next round, and that's who we used our pick on. And then you got a guy like Groot, and I think he's another, like, obviously a different kind of guy, but the same kind of story where people kind of forgot about him because he took a year off. And you know what I mean? I think like Bean's trying to get the most value out of these picks that he possibly can, and kind of taking like that Josh Allen gamble on them, where it's like they have all these characteristics that the player is inside them. How do we get it out? And I think AJ's time is running out. This is absolutely his last year to show if he can do that or not. Good question, Adam. Good question.
Great question. I saw an 8+ sack for Epinesa and the gang. I agree with that. It's either 8+ sack or finding a new home next year. It doesn't have to be double digit because of the rotation, but I would like to see that number for sure.
That's over under. What's the over under? How many sacks does AJ got to get to help himself out and be on the roster for next year?
I think they hit it spot on with the 8 number.
All right. Well, I happen to have the sack leaders from last year up here. Do you know what 2 players had the most sacks on the Bills last year?
Russo and Von Miller.
That's right. And they had
8
apiece.
Yep.
Do you know who the next highest was?
Daquan Jones.
Daquan Jones had 2, and he was 5th on this list. This is also not the Rattle the Reeds, by the way.
Oh. Was it Milano?
Milano was 7th with 1.5.
Well, both of those came against the Jets when he split the quarterback in half. Okay.
Yeah, but 8.5 is a high number. Yeah, I think that's where you're getting at. And with that rotation,
8 is a huge number. I mean, 8 is more than anybody got, or 8.5 is more than anybody got last year. 3rd on this list after the 2 8s was Shaq Lawson with 3.5.
Okay.
At Oliver after that with 2.5. And we had Daquan. Boogie Basham also had 2 sacks. I mean, DeMar Hamlin had a sack and a half. Jordan Phillips had a sack and a half. Like, it's one of those things, man.
Good stat pull up, Swank.
Yeah, well, when they were talking about Epinesa, I was curious where he landed on that list. He really doesn't land on that list.
So that 8+ is a huge number. Then that makes that question a completely different question now that you think about that number.
When that question comes up, all I could think about is what we all thought of Dawson Knox and what his productivity and what his success would be in a season. It wasn't necessarily numbers; it was percentages. And I think that's going to have to hold true with Epinesa too. The amount of time he's on the field, what is his success rate in his, battles won? And I think that's the number you're going to have to look for is the percentage. He wins 89% of the time. Then there you go. That's success.
Right.
Well, I think too, if you're considering the rotation part of this, right, which is the huge part of this, I think Groot and Vaughn, when they're healthy, they get a lion's share of these snaps. And AJ Epinesa isn't getting the same amount of snaps that Von Miller is getting. So to ask 8 out of him, 8, man, hell yeah, go nuts. I want them. I want them all to get double digits. Go nuts. I think more with the opportunities that he has, I think 4 is a number that I would love to see from him this year, and solid pressures and gap integrity. I mean, just all around, I want to see him be at least a little bit of that player that we thought he could be. Unfortunately, it's dragged out for this long now to where he's got to push it. He's got to be more than average, so.
And you add into that Von Miller's going to be out there on 3rd down passing downs.
Mm-hmm.
So Epinesa is not going to get all the passing downs either. So sacks are going to –
Leonard Floyd.
Is he going to be down there? Yeah.
I mean, that guy's not even included in the list of names we just talked about, and he's going to have a big chunk of those too.
They are saying he is having an excellent camp and that this defense fits him perfectly. So, yeah, I think 4 is a good number. You hit that, Swank, and I think that's a successful season for Epinesa. And again, it's just the productivity number.
I'll say this too, man, because I saw Adam was saying like he thought maybe he was a bubble player. I think you're right, but I think Boogie is a bubble player for sure too. The only thing with Boogie is that he can play outside and inside. So we know how they like these, multi talented, versatile kind of guys. If you can play multiple positions, you got a better chance of sticking around, but you still got to be productive. You know, it does not give you a free pass just because you can line up in 2 different places. If you're not producing, then I don't know, man. We're in a different spot. This is a different team. We need it. We need everything we can get. So great questions. Jason says Groot, Floyd, Vaughn, Epinesa, all 8+ sacks. I love it. We got Robbie from Let's Talk 716.
Unrealistic. Some people think that's unrealistic, but with McDermott's aggression and defense, it could possibly happen.
How about the Eagles? Their front four had 10+. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. It's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. They have the talent to do it, and they have the scheme. And now I think really what was lacking was an aggressive-minded play caller, and now you have that with Sean McDermott. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Is he going to sell out too much, and then it's going to leave the back end a little light, or what? It's exciting. It's all gearing up towards, like, it'll be interesting to see what we have depth-wise Saturday at this game, and who's going to make the cut, man. Patrick Hughes brings up elephant in the room, the fact that we don't have a backup quarterback. Scott and I were just talking about this right before we went live. We decided that we were going to save it for a discussion here with you beautiful people. And Patrick, as always, dude, you've came through. Segue genius. Look at you. You're just beautiful. There is a lot of speculation coming out of camp that Kyle Allen is not producing the way that everybody thought he was going to. They've kind of had like this journeyman backup quarterback scenario for the last couple of years after Josh matured enough to grow out of needing a mentor like Derek Anderson or anything like that. Matt Barkley's more of like a colleague. He's been in the league a little bit longer, but it's not, I wouldn't say that Josh is looking up to Matt to bounce high quality caliber playing tactics off of Matt Barkley. It's just not happening. He's more there for like a soundboard, I think, and to kind of run over plays and stuff. Kyle Allen was supposed to come in here, have a similar cannon, be able to do kind of a little bit of the things that Josh Allen can do, and it just doesn't seem like that's connecting for him quite yet at training camp. So we wanted to touch on this. We do have a list of the free agent quarterbacks that are available, because I was saying that Teddy Bridgewater would have been an amazing candidate, I think, as a backup for Josh Allen if Kyle was not going to be there, and he just signed with the Detroit Lions. So I was curious as to how many people were left. All you guys that are ready for Carson Wentz talk, I'm going to let Scott head it off, and I'm going to tell you by the time it gets back around to me, I don't want him. So go ahead, Scott.
Well, if I'm going to tell you guys right now, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, Nick Foles, Chase Daniel, who's I think he's almost played for every NFL team in this NFL.
He's a cheap Fitzpatrick.
Right. Those are the guys available. And if Kyle Allen can't cut it, the reason I'm going Carson Wentz, the reason I told you earlier, Swank, that I think Carson Wentz would be the best fit is because I see him kind of being like a Josh Allen. He's got the arm. He can make the reads. He can't scramble as good as he used to. I think he can probably make the reads quicker than Josh Allen. And we all know Josh Allen's a scrambler. He extends plays. We need someone that can make the quicker reads. I think Carson Wentz could do that. And with the talent that he would have around him, I think he would be a legitimate backup quarterback. These other guys, I just don't think Joe Flacco's there anymore. I think he's got early Alzheimer's. Nick Foles, he got lucky with the Eagles. Matt Ryan, I've always liked him, but he had talent in Indianapolis. I think they just misused him because Indianapolis is a run-first team, and they definitely did not use him properly. So either one of those two, I think Wentz and Ryan, if you can get them for the veteran minimum, I think those two guys would be good for the Buffalo Bills. They're definitely an upgrade from Kyle Allen for sure.
Yeah. Wentz, for me, it's his decision-making. He can see the reads. I don't know. Make the reads is kind of where you start to lose me, because the dude, he's had really great games, but I really think he's been injured too much. I think it's in his head. I don't think that he can perform at that starting caliber that everybody in the league seems to have thought he could, and he's been paid out the ass for all these years from all these teams to be that guy, and I just don't think he's got it anymore. And it's unfortunate because I think his career was kind of a flash. He gets hurt in the Super Bowl and all that stuff, and then they try to make a run with him, and all of a sudden it's like he's just not the guy. I think injury really hampered him, but now it's more of a footsteps thing. I think he's in his own head about stuff, and if I'm looking at that list, man, I don't know. Matt Ryan seems like he is just too old. Like you saw the decline last year, and I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean,
I think I would go Foles. If you're going the best backup quarterback on that list, I think I'm going Foles.
He's been there. He's had experience. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows what it takes to back up a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the guys that we have in camp might be struggling, but if you take a guy with experience like that doesn't make many mistakes, he can manage a game. Look who he's got around him. We haven't even mentioned James Cook and what that running game did during the red and blue scrimmage or practice. He took off like a bat out of hell for 50 yards just like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Nick Foles, for me, would be the guy I'd want.
Well, there's something to be said because this is like a revelation for me live right here on the K-Gun for all of you guys. But dude's been on the big stage and won.
Yep.
And beat a good team.
Mm-hmm. And had good numbers.
Yeah.
Very good numbers.
And again, fooled everybody. And he's been one of those dudes that's bounced around, and he's lived off of that moniker forever. But bringing him in somewhere to fill in for a couple games like he did in Philadelphia, he excelled at that. Mm-hmm. So to me, I want a guy like that can do that can make some throws, can hand the ball off to Jimbo, and keep us in games, Because
I'm with you guys. I think Foles and Wentz, and I think they're an upgrade from Allen for sure. It's just a tough choice.
Yeah, not a lot left, and maybe whatever, man. It's only halfway through training camp or whatever. Maybe you're going to see him in preseason games. I bet you're going to see him a lot Saturday. So maybe Kyle Allen, turns it around. I like him, the opportunities he's gotten in the league. I think he's a good dude. Maybe it just hasn't connected quite yet. We'll see.
We'll see what happens when the pads really start to click on each other and the game's moving fast. Sometimes these quarterbacks have to rely on just their basic instinct, and maybe something will click between one of these guys, and we'll have a safe backup quarterback. Just believe.
Josh Cook. Kyle Allen is garbage can emoji.
Love
it. Joey says, what's up, Joey? We need to draft a quarterback and develop into our offense. Bringing in scrubs every year. Don't cut it. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's something that there's that fine line between getting a veteran that at least has had some solid playing time, whether he was super successful or not. At least he knows the speed of the game. He knows what it's like to play in an NFL game, as opposed to a off the street rookie, which you're probably going to go into the deeper rounds because we're still trying to get depth and competition at high profile positions on this team. And I got to say, as frustrating as it is, knock on wood, Josh Allen stayed pretty healthy. And these dudes that they've come in, I like what they're doing. I like that they're bringing in these different guys that kind of like, A, are either trying to reset their careers, or B, they've been in those positions. I mean, did any of us want Case Keenum to be in a game last year? We saw what he did in preseason too, and it wasn't the Minnesota Miracle, like these dudes get old and it just happens, But if they can, I don't know if they can fill a void and cover a game or two or a quarter or two or whatever, then fine, you know.
Mhm.
It almost makes me want Mitch back. I think Mitch is just a career backup. He should just come back up to Buffalo, start taking some knees for us, you know.
I'd take him.
Patrick Hughes says, wish we would have brought in Teddy. Me too, man. That's what started this whole conversation.
Yep.
That's it.
Swank, you've been wanting Teddy for 3 years, I think, and
I like Teddy.
rightfully so.
I like
yeah,
Teddy.
so do I. I think he's a very good quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's similar. Obviously, nobody's Josh Allen, but I think you don't have to rewrite the whole playbook for Teddy. I think down in Miami when he was trying to fill in for old backyard Bommy McGee over there, like it's a hard pill to swallow. Like, you know, I don't know. I just think he'd fit here. And I think he's another one of those dudes that got kind of a bum rap with injury, and he had a lot of potential. And I like his story. I think he's a solid quarterback, and he's never gotten a fair shake.
I still think he still has a lot of potential. I think he could find a starting spot somewhere. He just needs to find that right offense.
Sure. I'm really interested to see what like Geno Smith's going to do this year. You know, that's the kind of story where it's like that dude lived under a rock. Like everybody thought he was done. People have been talking a lot about like the third-year players in McDermott's system and how they really grow. And if they don't grow, then that's it, right? Like a lot of fans and media members feel like after year 3 in a McDermott-led football team, you should be at the top of your game. And if you're not, you get the hell out, you know? But a Geno Smith, look at what he came into. And then think about all the other players that came into that same situation, that same team that never got a shot because they were on that team with that coach, with that system.
High-profile players.
Yeah. Yep. And it sucks. It sucks to go that whole way. It almost makes you understand why certain players say they're not going to play for certain teams when they get drafted and stuff like that, you know? But Doug says Fitzpatrick out of retirement. I love it, dude. I'd take that too. Adam says
he would too.
Adam says Colin Kaepernick. LOL. Carson's too much of a head case. Yeah. Joey, I'm sorry. Did nobody see Wentz play in Washington? Patrick said
that Washington team doesn't have what the Bills have, though. That's gotta remember that.
They had a line that was anemic. I'll say that.
John says as long as we don't go for Nathan Peterman.
He's still got a job somewhere, I believe.
Yeah. Rob Mullen's making a case for Wentz, man. He said this is not a check down type of offense. It's downfield and now a 12 personnel scheme. Perfect for Wentz. Hey, man. I'm here for it.
I swear, I know Jared's my twin, but Rob, I think as far as football goes, he was attached to me at one point. We share the same brain. He's along the same wavelengths as I am all the time on a lot of stuff. Good point, Rob. Thanks for backing me up, bud.
Let's see here. Lewis, I like the Foles idea. He's been there, and he can mentor Josh a little bit. Yeah. Rob, in my
especially when they
opinion,
get to that Super Bowl.
Yeah. My honest opinion, Teddy is not a plug-and-play QB and has struggled with certain systems. He doesn't have the skill set to improvise the way Wentz can. Yeah. I mean, they kind of had the same history as far as I'm concerned. You don't really know what the full potential of either of them could be, right? Like, I think injuries just plague both of them like crazy. And schemes and whatever else. Teddy's just one of those stories, man. I don't know. When he came on the scene in Minnesota, it was exciting, and he was an exciting, charismatic player. And I think if he would have stayed healthy, he could have been in the conversation of like these multifaceted quarterbacks that have came on the scene. Your Josh Allen, like the dudes that plowed the way for Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allens, and I don't know.
I agree with
Likeable guy.
Joey says, come on, Reed Brothers, you like him because he's a ginger, LOL.
The only thing ginger on us is his facial hair.
Me too. Hell yeah. All right. You guys want to do a little rattle the reads?
Oh, here we go.
You know they do. Well, if you're new to the show, this is the point where... Oops. Can you guys see that?
Did you?
Oop, don't look.
I didn't look. It's on my little screen. I didn't see it yet.
It's on my little screen.
Well, it's like there's 15 things up there.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay. I think I'm all right here.
Rattle the reeds, the reeds, the reeds, the reeds, where they don't know much about nothing. Just kidding. Can't wait for this.
Oh, you can't wait for this. Well, see, now I lied to you because the sack part was going to be the rattle the reeds. Absolutely. Oh, yeah? I just screwed it all up because I was like, oh, yeah, this is something I have popped right up here. We can just go through that. It's exactly what it was. But we can find something else really fast.
Oh, boy. Winging it. We're winging it.
We're just winging it, man.
Well, we might as well talk about the regular season Rager while you're trying to find
do
something.
that, man. Do that.
The event went live, guys, a couple of weeks ago, and we are, guys, would you believe we're already up to over 200 responses? That's freaking awesome. September 2nd, the biggest tailgate in the preseason. I'm doubling it right now. Can't wait for it. It's at Reinvention Brewing Company. We got Mark Maddox coming out. We're raising money for the Help One Foundation to get again, and we've got a lot of stuff happening. We've got Blackheart Barbecue going to feed us. We've got Tony's Popcorn going to give us snacks during the show that Swank is performing for us with the Endless Mountain Derelicts from 7 to 9 or 7:30 to either way. We're gonna rock out
7:30 to 9.
Yep. A beer release. Reinvention is not only hosting, but they're also releasing a beer. They're Super Fanatics Cream Ale, which is really tasty. And and if you don't like cream ale, they have tons of other options for other beer. This is
Insiders.
This is my segue. Look at this. Look at this guy. This is my favorite from Reinvention Brewing Company. The Middle Finger IPA. It's a 7.0. And it's getting me toasty tonight. Love it. They have a lot of options. They got great stuff on their draft.
Is that Is that the Finger Lakes on that can?
That's the Middle Finger Lakes. And also, guys, when you come in and you buy that $5 ticket to walk in, you're automatically entered to win that guy right there, that Josh Allen Rush Red jersey. And we have a lot of other stuff to raffle off. We've got 50-50 going on. We've got donations to the Help One Foundation. Basically, it's a big tailgate party with a bunch of Bills fans doing what Bills fans do. And we can't wait for it. September 2nd, 3 to 9 at Reinvention Brewing Company. Can't wait.
Is that something you do too, Jared?
What's that?
You have readisms. I've learned this over the last couple of years, right? 3P to 9P. Like, do you do that or do you do PM?
I do PM.
Oh, okay. So that's just a Scottism.
3P to 9P. Yep.
Oh.
I like it.
Isn't that a beautiful jersey though back there? Swank, I love how you're wearing the Color Rush digs. It's like it was meant to be tonight.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Beautiful.
All right, boys.
And it's framed, Scott, right? That's going to be framed for them to take home easily.
It's coming just like that. Just as it is. Yep.
Damn.
Yep. And guys, we've had such a response. It's awesome. And we have a lot of you guys that follow us all the time. Feel free to share, tag, and get all these Bills fans here because it's a tailgate and we love to celebrate together. So if you want to help us out by any way, do that for sure.
Do it. If you're not there, share.
There you go. I like that.
All right. Top 11 receiving leaders for the Buffalo Bills last season.
Like receiving how?
Like catching the ball. Yards.
Oh.
Diggs. Number 1. 1429 for my man, Mr. Diggs.
Gabe Davis, number 2.
Gabe Davis, 836. Quite a jump off, but understandable because Stephon Diggs is such a superstar. Yes, he's number 2.
Top 11, huh?
Try to get number 3, Scott. Who is it?
Knox.
Knox is number 3 at 517 yards.
Okay.
Excuse me.
McKenzie's got to be up there.
McKenzie's number 4 at 423 yards. And you can tell Jared's reading it off his computer screen right now.
Nope.
Look at him smirk. Look at him smirk, cheating ass.
Got to show
like
you guys.
He's going like this.
I believe it's nope. James Cook is, you guys got him all in order. He is on this list. You skipped somebody. He is number 6 with 180 receiving yards.
Devin Singletary.
Devin Singletary is number 5 with 280. Only 100 more receiving yards than James Cook, even though James got his patties whacked for half the season. Now we're getting into this next wide receiver on this list. Tkgr, 161 receiving yards. Very good. I'm glad that you can read that small of a font on your phone there. The next receiver, he's not a wide receiver, but just a receiver who caught the ball, the kind of receiver that catches the ball, Scott. The next name on this list, 84 yards receiving.
Oh, damn, this is going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Tommy Sweeney?
No, he's not on this list. But you're getting, I mean, these are the kind of people that you're getting to right now.
Yes. Top 11, you said receiving yards. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
The 11th person has 27.
Nyheim Hines.
Nyheim Hines is number 12 on this list with 53 yards.
Damn. Reggie Gilliam?
Reggie Gilliam is number 9 on this list with 69 yards.
Oh, geez. There you go. Damn, who else is one?
You have 2 wide receivers and a tight end.
Quentin Morris,
84 yards.
Okay.
Number 8 on this list. You are just missing number 10 and 11.
So 2 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Cole Beasley can't be on there. He came in late, right?
Nope, he is not.
John Brown had a long catch
John
last
Brown
year.
is not on this list. No.
2 receivers that came in. Holy cow, they're obviously low on the list, Scott.
Yep.
When do you want him?
Was Crowder in there for a little bit?
Crowder is number 11 with
Okay.
60 yards. 1 more wide receiver.
60 yards.
Wasn't Isaiah Hodgins, was it?
No,
Isaiah Hodgins is below John Brown, actually, 41 yards, and he's 14th on the list.
Okay.
How long was he? Wait, you said Isaiah Hodgins. When did he go to New York?
He was traded
early.
What, third
He did have some
week,
games,
second
huh?
and third week.
Okay.
There was one game. It was after the Miami game. Remember, and they had all the reserves playing because everybody was hurt.
Was out.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you said it,
One
Scott.
more receiver.
I think Scott said it.
Kumaro?
Kumaro is number 10 on this list with 64 yards.
There you go.
This exercise here, I went back and forth anyway between doing this because I was like, I think we did something similar to this last year. This and sacks. Sacks I thought would just be more relevant to what we were talking about with the line and stuff. But this, the drop-off is insane to me after your top 3 guys, even McKenzie. But I thought it was interesting that you can kind of get an idea of where the target shares might be going. You know what I mean? The Kincaids, the Hardys, the Sherfields, all that stuff. And if Diggs was upset that he wasn't getting the ball and he had 14,000 yards and almost had twice as much as anybody else on this team, like, it's something to be talking about. So
the first thing I look at really quick, Swank, when I'm looking at this list is James Cook and Devin Singletary. And I'm thinking because of the Nyheim Hines injury that they had 84 targets combined. And I think James Cook will probably get close to that by himself this year.
That's what I was thinking is that they're going to have he's going to have combined what him and Singletary had. And then Harris probably isn't going to get he might get what Hines has now. I don't know. I think everything from, like the 3rd, 4th receiver, it's all going to get restructured. Do we think Knox is going to get less than 500 yards receiving?
No. I personally believe that those numbers might look similar all the way through, and Kincaid will get the McKenzie numbers.
Yeah. I mean, to me,
okay, yeah,
there's going to have to be more attempts. I think they're going to be throwing it more this year. is what I think,
Mhm.
which is hard to fathom as they were like one of the top passing offenses. But like when I'm looking at this, you have more targets, better targets. I mean, I don't know, man. A Sherfield for a McKenzie, a Hardy for a McKenzie, you know. We all loved Singletary, but I think James Cook is going to be all that and more.
Mhm.
You got Kincaid to throw in there, which is a position that didn't really, I mean, if you're going Quentin Morris, like, okay. But like that was kind of one of those, he got 10 targets all year. You know, that's not going to be Kincaid's role.
No, Kincaid is going to be a role that we have not seen here in Buffalo.
Exactly. And it's just going to, I think it's going to restructure this whole list. And it's going to even out so that the top, you know, Diggs is going to be Diggs. Diggs is going to Diggs. But like the 3 or 4 positions underneath him, they're going to be a lot closer, I think, in yardage than this last year's list here. So
fantasy wise, it's going to be another Drew Brees type of offense. It's going to be one of those guys that you might want to get Diggs because he's going to get his 100 catches, but everyone else, depending week to week, is going to be totally different. One week it's going to be Tkgr. The next week it's going to be Gabe Davis. Kincaid's going to have a couple big weeks. You're not going to know who to get in your fantasy football team and who you're going to play, and you're going to be disappointed because you're always, my luck, you're always going to pick a player that does not do well that week.
Well, it'd be interesting to see, Swank, if you take a still photo of that and you look at the percentage of catch percentage to see what the catch percentage of this year coming up is going to look like. Compare that, because I think that's going to play a huge factor too, and is how much, because Diggs' numbers, 1,400 yards, he had a smaller catch percentage this year than he had the year previous. So if he would have remained on that consistent balance of catch percentage, he would have had a lot more yards and a lot more touchdowns, where the other guys might have been lower. But that's the number I think you got to look at, is how many targets did they get and how many times did they catch the ball?
Well, sure. I mean, and look at Gabe. Gabe put up numbers for somebody who we complained about dropping the ball all year. Like a number 2, 836 yards. His touchdowns were right up there too.
7.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't be mad at that for a number 2 wide receiver. Like that's good numbers.
And he played with a bummed ankle for half the season.
Yep.
That's what I wanted to say. One quick thing about Davis. When you watch this game Tuesday or Saturday against the Colts, for the little bit of time he's running around and doing routes, take a 10-second video of him halfway through the season running a route compared to Saturday, and watch the difference. Look at the difference in the hips and the knees and the legs of how fluid he's become. That's going to be huge with his numbers this year.
Huge. All right, guys, that's been Rattle the Reeds, brought to you by 26shirts.com. Right up here. Our sponsor, 26shirts.com, on the Buff Fanbase Network. Tkgr Report, 24/7 Buff NML. All right, guys. We got about 10 minutes left. You guys got any questions? Keep the comments coming in. You guys are killing it, as always. Thanks for participating. Really fast, I wanted to run over this game that's coming up on Saturday. It's a preseason game. We got some folks on the panel here that are going to be in attendance, I do believe. I just wanted to touch briefly on what you guys are looking for, who you're looking at, a couple quick dudes from either side of the ball, and if there's anybody on the Colts, or if there's just something in general that you're looking one side of the ball or the other to achieve, or where they're at. So, Jared, why don't you start out?
Offensive side of the ball, I'm looking for James Cook to be that spark that just gets those 20-yard runs plus, maybe even longer. We'll see it in the first or second drive, and then it'll be done. But I'm hoping to see that. If you see that, that means the line is doing something that we've thought they were depleting at this year already. And then on defensive side of the ball, it's going to be interesting to see what the linebacking core is going to look like. I'm going to be watching Dorian Williams. He's probably not going to be playing middle linebacker right away. I think outside linebacker is where he's going to be at. So it's going to be interesting to see even Dotson, linebacker, to see the physicality of him coming up to the guards and the offensive line and plugging that run. So James Cook on offense, Dorian Williams on the defense, the linebacking core on the defense. That's what I'm excited to watch this weekend.
Nice. Lonnie wanted to know what time the game is on Saturday. It is at 1 p.m. What do you think, Scooter?
Well, I took my boy to his first game last year, preseason. So the first thing I'm going to watch is my brother watching his two boys go to their first game this season.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling that
I'm going to cry.
Yep, every father wants to see their because we're huge Bills fans. Obviously, we watch it all the time, but just to see them go through that tunnel and see that field for the first time, and then just get excited. They'll be having their jerseys on. It's going to be a good time. That's the first thing I'm going to watch. Second thing I'm going to watch, I'm with Jarrod. That middle linebacker position. That seems to be the position that Coach McDermott wants to figure out who is that starting middle linebacker. Apparently, Terrell Bernard is coming up in the ranks. Which I'm excited for. I think he's the number one right now. Jarrod, I know you said the rest of the guys, Tyrell Dotson and then Balin Spector, is going to be the defense to watch, and Dorian Williams, you said. But my focus is on that middle linebacker spot. They need to figure that out in these next 3 weeks to see who's going to be the leader of that defense. And I'm excited for Terrell Bernard. Offensively, Jarrod, you said James Cook. Last year they didn't play any of their starters in the first game, so I don't see James Cook going out there. Offensively, I'm gonna pay attention to see how that offensive line does. The Indianapolis Colts do bring a pretty potent defensive front seven, so I want to see how these backups do. And a lot of these backups are actually going to be playing for that starting spot. So it'll be a lot of position battles the next coming 4 weeks. But I'm excited to see what these backups are going to do and how if they can protect the backup quarterback for sure. There's a lot to watch in week 1. And with it being the only home game, there's going to be a lot of hype for the Bills Mafia.
Yeah, buddy. I think it's Kids Day too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I am just excited to watch a game here and get my routine down a little bit. It'll be a Saturday instead of a Sunday. That's all right. I got a show Friday, but not on Saturday, so that'll be cool. For me, CB2 all the way. I could have said middle linebacker and went for a three-peat here. We could all talked about the same guy, but I'm just going to say CB2. I think Tkgr's starting to edge out Dane, especially all the little reports I've been seeing, and maybe that competition's been good for him, man. I'd love to see him. He's a ball hawk. Kid got an interception last year. I think with more aggressive play calling, again, you could see this kid really flourish if he's going off instinct as opposed to trying to just memorize wherever he's supposed to be and all that. So it'll be interesting. Also going to go on the offensive side of the ball with the popular vote here in the comments. It looks like I am also going with this guy, Justin Shorter, who is not shorter. I want to see this dude raking in balls. And hopefully Kyle Allen putting it to him in a good spot so he has an opportunity to show off a little bit. Otherwise, but it'll be interesting. I think this QB from Indy, man, that could be something really cool for the two of you guys to experience with your families. He could be a dude that's coming up and going to be a generational quarterback, just like our said Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and that kind of, maybe not quite that caliber, but who knows, man. I think that kid's going to play in this league a very long time, so it could be a really cool thing to say that you were there for the first time he ever hit a field in a professional capacity.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I want to see the lines own it on both sides. I want this depth of these lines. Like, our defensive line should smoke the shit out of the Indianapolis Colts all game, because half those dudes, rotation-wise, are starter. Like, they're in the starting, they're playing, they're suiting and they're playing, and they are treated as starters. So they should just be blowing that whole thing up all game.
I agree.
Can I add something really quick, Swank?
I mentioned those guys as potentially being starters on other teams, so I expect the same thing out of our defensive front seven. Floyd, Settle, Phillips, and Epinesa right now are our second stringers, and if the Bills are playing them, then they should dominate the backups for the Indianapolis Colts for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to the CB2, Swank, you got Dane Jackson, you got Elam, and you got Benford. Benford on the starting roster that they shared today is Benford/Elam. He's in front of Elam.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. That's going to be a
Yeah.
fun one to watch too. And just because you're taking in the draft high doesn't mean you're going to be starting. Benford's proven that. He's jumping over Elam here, and the best man's going to play. So that's definitely a great position to watch.
Well, definitely not on this team too. Like you are not going to get a free ride on this team. It does not matter. They don't care. I honestly don't think Brandon Bean gives a shit if he drafted a guy in the 2nd round or in the 7th round. It's not embarrassing to him. You know what I mean? Maybe whatever. It's like, oh, it was a miss. But if you got a good player out of there and he's out there and he's outperforming a guy, like obviously they have no problem sitting rookies. They have no problem restructuring, depth, none of that, cutting guys, whatever. So I don't know. I think it's good. I think you can rest assured that there's no politics. It's all the best people that are there to play are playing. The ones that are going to handle it are handling it. So, I mean, you can see that in the rotation of the defensive line too. Certain players that are active or inactive on certain game days, and that's matchup based and all that stuff too. But I don't know. There's a lot that goes into it, and I think everybody can rest assured they're doing the best that they can to win football games. So,
and Swank and Jarrod, I tell you this much for free. Last year, their first preseason game, they played a shitload out of the 2nd stringers, and we have 4 of our 2023 draft picks right now currently labeled as a 2nd stringer. Justin Shorter, like Swank said, Osiris Torrance, our right guard, Dalton Kincaid. We're going to see him. Knox isn't going to start. I'm telling you that much for free. And then Dorian Williams, like you alluded to earlier, Jarrod. So we're going to get a eyeful of every one of our rookies this year. So that's going to be exciting.
Right off the bat. Couldn't ask for anything better than that. Yep. Let's get it.
Well, hell yeah. Well, guys, it's 8:59. We came in. Everybody's calling for overtime. I mean, we're just not going to do it because we're on time, you know. So, thank you.
I know where we can do it.
Huh?
Josh Allen was ranked number 8 in the top 100. What do you guys feel about that?
Hey, who's running this? Here we go.
He's in a good spot.
We're in overtime. That's right, folks. I was just stalling. Jarrod thought I was being serious. We are in overtime. Yeah, we can hit on that quick, man. I heard a thing on WGR talking about what of the 7 players above Josh Allen, who is it most insulting that he was below? And for me, when you're looking at that thing, and I think somebody said it, maybe Tasker, maybe Sale, I don't know, said that the top 10 players in the NFL, like the top 32 players on that list should have been quarterbacks, because it's like just a different position, different game, like whatever. But if you're trying to like compare apples to oranges and make this list and who's the best football player, like whatever, I gotta say my biggest bitch on it, Jalen Hurts. I get that you went to the Super Bowl. I get that you're pretty athletic. The way I was looking at it is, out of any of those dudes, if you put it one-on-one, would you rather have Josh Allen or Tyreek Hill on your team? Would you rather have Nick Bosa or Josh Allen? You know, not to say that they're not fantastic players, but a Tyreek Hill doesn't work without a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes or an amazing Tua Tagovailoa. But you know what I mean? To me, franchises are built around quarterbacks, and even like moderate to average play quarterbacks, they handle a lot. They do a lot. If they can get you over 500 and in the hunt for a playoff game, like by 3/4 of the season, like they should be on that list. So to me, Jalen Hurts, I just don't think he's earned his stripes quite yet. I get they went, but there was a lot of other factors that went into that team making it to the Super Bowl other than Jalen Hurts.
They may have had a defense.
Yeah. Who pushed the record for sacks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And an insane wide receiving core and an insane running game. And he's great. I just think next year, if he does it again, next year, put him in the top 10. Mm-hmm. This year, I don't. If Josh Allen would have went to the Super Bowl, and lost, would he have been where Jalen Hurts is?
Right.
I don't think so. I just don't think so. But what do you guys think, Jared? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. You put these guys up to who's going to be the toughest football player on that in the league, and I mean he was 13th last year. This year he's 8th. He's moving up, but yeah, Nick Bosa's a beast. But how many games did he really change and come back and win games for? You know, how many game-winning drives did he do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, look at Von Miller. He should have been up there for half the season. He's the one that beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the one that chased down Mahomes to end that game. You know what I mean? To use a closer. You know, I know he didn't finish the season. He was injured, but if you're going to play that game, then Von Miller should have been up there.
Yeah.
But
is he not a top 10 player now because he got injured?
Right. And Justin Jefferson, number 2, he was a beast. So we'll give him that. But I think number 3 or 4 should have been where Allen was. And maybe this is just a little bit of ump that'll get Allen. I don't know if these numbers give players any ump to play, but I tell you what will give Allen umph to play is listening to the guys talk to play. Is listening to the guys talk about why Josh Allen's number 8. You know, toughest guy in the league. You know, got an arm like nobody else. Just if Josh Allen watches that 6-minute video about him being number 8, that's a nice little credential thing for him. So
I'll tell you why this is like, and some of it isn't, a lot of it isn't, it's just buzz, but this is because this is players and coaches. This isn't the NFL network. This isn't ESPN. This isn't some podunk guy writing in his notebook and faxing it over to a newspaper or magazine. This is players in this league that voted on these guys and they averaged out to these positions. And that is what is going to, if anything from this, Josh Allen will absolutely have a fire under his ass about that. The same way Stephon Diggs will. Like, this is your peers that you respect that are placing you below a kid that came into the league and stumbled into a Super Bowl appearance. So I don't know. It's interesting. Joe Burrow should be more pissed, I think, to be honest.
Yep.
But
Yep.
The other thing, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to do something dirty. I'm just going to send it off for final thoughts. I'm going to say this, and nobody can even weigh in on it. I'm just going to say it. The top 2 guys on this top 100 list are picks that the Bills traded away. Jared, what are your final thoughts for tonight?
as always, Tuesday nights at 8:00, we start talking football, and I love every minute of it. I so bad wanted to say, can I say something really quick? I love talking about this. I love the Fandemonium weighing in on everything. It's just a fun time, and I love everything that's going on here. The season's going right around the corner. The Bills are going to be playing their first game Saturday. Can't wait for that. I'm going to take the little ones, like Scott said, and it's going to be their first experience, and I can't wait to witness that. Next Tuesday, we're going to talk about that Saturday game and then maybe highlight what's going on the next week. But I just want to mention that Nate from Circling the Wagons podcast on the Buffalo Rumblings Podcast Network will be joining us next Tuesday to talk more football. And he's got some good insight, and I love listening to him. So it's going to be another little tag or a little addition to the show next Tuesday. I can't wait for it. Go Bills.
Hell yeah. Nice teaser, buddy. And you have a good time with your kiddies down at the Bills indie game, man. That'll be great. Scooter Magooter, what do you got for a final thought, my G?
I love that we can't respond to your little tag there, but it makes sense. Think about it, Buffalo Bills fans. And Josh, you're 8. Take control of those turnovers and that red zone offense, and you'll move up in the ranks. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah, first preseason game coming up. Analyze how you will, critique how you will. We're all going to have our own opinions, but we'll be here to talk about it on Tuesday. And guys, go check out 24/7 Buff Pandemonium's social media pages. We have that event for the regular season Rager for this year, September 2nd. We don't want you to miss out on this opportunity to not only hang out with us, get to know us, hang out with other Bills fans, hang out with Mark Maddox, have some food, some drinks, some popcorn, some live music. It's a good time. Don't miss out. September 2nd. Can't wait to see you there.
Biggest party in the Finger Lakes to kick off the season. Hell yeah. Yeah, come on down to the Rager, man. We've been able to meet a lot of you through that, and it's really nice to put a face to all the text, the letters, in the comments that come in here. Hell yeah, it's game week. It's preseason. Doesn't feel real, but you know, it's a game. It's there. I'm gonna watch it. You're gonna be like, who the hell was that guy in the fourth quarter that ran that ball 1.5 yards? Like, it's gonna be a great time. We're gonna talk all about it next week on the Tkgr Report. It'll be awesome. Don't forget, we have a bonfire site. Go check out our store. You can buy all sorts of stuff there. Might be updating some stuff, I think. Maybe getting something freshy for the Rager in the beginning of the season. I got a little bit of a wild hair, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, you can get over there. You can type in K-Gun Report and receive 5% off your order. So that'll basically save you the shippings. Yeah, check that out. Make sure you're checking out the website for all the great articles that Rob and Dr. Bruce are putting out, and follow us on all of our social medias, you know. And as always, you can check us out here every Tuesday night for the K-Gun Report at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all them everywhere. We are part of the Buff Fan Base Network and sponsored by 26shirts.com. Don't forget to go over there and buy everything. And am I stalling and waiting for him, or
I have no idea.
All right, well, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Why don't you do an impersonation of Scott saying "Go Bills"?
Go Bills.
I'll do it. Go Bills. Go Bills.
This is a dangerous group